Are you saying that young jock, the walking meme? The uncontested comedy relief? The hip-hop and love icon with more hairstyles than plot points has been removed from season 13. No, something doesn't seem right. This isn't merely an artistic choice. For personal reasons, this isn't a vacation. The takedown was this. Not just any takedown either. The same filmmakers who gave him television time for haggling about infidelity. Accusations in a salon while sporting a perm executed him. In a quiet, icy, off-camera manner. Suddenly, there is quiet. Jock, where are you? Why does the promo roster lack his name? Why did the network ignore him like a season 6 unpaid cast member? Was this the last time Mona Scott used her influence? Or did Kendra secretly abandon the project? Or is Jock concealing something so outrageous and embarrassing that even VH1 conceded? Yeah, nah, we can't air that. One thing we know for sure, this wasn't accidental. This was surgical. Hold on tight, because what we discovered will cause you to reconsider everything you believe to be true about young Jock, the franchise, and the drama behind the drama. Baby, this isn't just tea, it's hip and full of affection. Atlanta has always been a chaotic city with a lot of culture, drama, and scandal. There was one constant, though, regardless of how loud the debates were or how many wine glasses were thrown. Jock Young. He served as the surprise truth teller, the comic relief for the show, and, to be honest, the only cast member who never took himself too seriously. He became hilarious, approachable, and marketable as a result. Thus, when the promo for season 13 was released and young Jock was not included, the streets began muttering, fans were shaken. Jokes were going viral, and one question kept coming up repeatedly. Young Jock, where are you? Let's take a moment to go back. Young Jock has been a mainstay on the show for more than 10 years. Jock was constantly in the middle of things, whether he was trying to mend his relationship with Kendra Robinson, dealing with barbershop strife, or being caught up in ugly love triangles. As other AUGs vanished, he was among the few that remained. So why would he be abruptly cut from the show? Well, he didn't leave. Rumors from inside say they forced him to go. In silence. Yes, they forced him to resign. And the explanation for why it becomes hazy and dubious at that point. Production-related sources claim that Jock's plot had begun to lose its appeal. Yes, exactly. According to reports, producers thought his storyline was losing its intensity. No significant drama, no viral events. Additionally, love and hip-hop required fire, not humor, as the show was under pressure to change and compete with younger, messier shows that were powered by TikTok. And Kendra comes next. At the conclusion of season 12, Jock's wife had already stated that she was beyond her embarrassment. Following an entire season of deception, side chicks, and after being publicly humiliated, Kendra was prepared to move on and perhaps even away from the cameras. This is where things start to become really intriguing. According to rumors, Kendra wouldn't film until producers agreed to specific terms. Sources claim that she wants complete control over what was and wasn't shown, particularly in relation to their marriage. No more scandals involving cheating. No more sporadic appearances of ex-girlfriends. No more Carly Red with a lie detector darting out from the bushes. The production crew and Mona Scott, however, weren't present for any of that. The disarray was what they wanted. And they ended the plot when the mascot denied. Jock backed away, as Kendra did. That's what we were supposed to think anyway. However, the truth may have been more heartless than that. According to other crew members, Jock did not resign. He was gently moved out, soft-fired, and sidelined. Additionally, no one was permitted to discuss it in public, not even Jock. And just silence, no podcast. No YouTube sit-down, no Instagram tirade. This is also not typical for Jock. We're discussing a man who has consistently been noisy, energetic, and never lost an opportunity to make fun of himself, particularly while the memes were trending. It's radio quiet this time, though. And there's a lot of silence. A dot. Okay. Fans have begun to speculate about a deeper purpose because it's so loud. They don't want us to know about it. Is there a contract dispute at hand? Did Jock reject a scenario that was pre-written? Was he made an example of by Mona and the ex for breaking the rules? Rumor has it that Jock was given a smaller part in the background scenes of season 13. Nothing except check-ins. No plot. Jock said no. It is said that he believed he was entitled to more. To be honest, he sort of did. For a longer time than most, he had been keeping the show down. However, they apparently iced him out entirely the instant he answered no. Boom! Jock's entire presence disappeared from season 13 when they said, "Cool. You don't want less? Then you get nothing." However, the producers weren't done there. They had a new plan, a new cast, and a new vibe. And they began bringing in fresh blood people like Queen Key. It's 24 hours. Salma Slim's fans weren't letting this go because Love and Hip Hop without young Jock just feels weird. Too quiet, too serious, no balance, no jokes. It's like watching a fight without a referee. It's chaotic, but not in a fun way. The energy changed, the vibe changed, and the original cast started dropping like flies. Although season 13 is feeling more like a reboot than a continuation, fans were still not amused. The glue is him. As soon as Jock vanished, the show Loki was cut off. The biggest question that everyone is asking is, if young Jock isn't in season 13, will he make a comeback? In season 14? And look, nothing is ever permanent in this industry. But the way Jock disappeared and the complete silence from his side has made fans feel like this wasn't just a break. But regardless of what anyone says, Mona better bring him back for season 14. And that brings us to the next big mystery. If he's not in season 13, will he be in season 14? Well, buckle up, because this is where it gets even deeper. There's always a deeper reason behind every cut. Casting change and quiet in reality TV, and in this case, insiders say there was a Cold War brewing between Jock and production. Apparently, during the reunion of season 12, Jock wasn't happy with the way things were edited, believing that some scenes were manipulated to make him look worse than he actually was. He even called out producers off camera, claiming that they were doing clown editing to boost ratings, which apparently didn't sit well with the executives. One assistant director reportedly said, "You don't bite the hand that provides you with nourishment." But there's more to this chessboard. People are saying that Mona Scott and her core team wanted to reshape the brand after years of the same storylines. Cheating, side babies, and failed marriages, and they needed new energy, younger faces, and less predictable drama. Because Jock tried to check the editors in front of the cast, that was bold and had consequences. So, guess whose name got pushed further down the priority list when it came time for season 13 planning? Exactly. In contrast, Jock was now viewed as too safe. He wasn't bringing the heat they needed, or at least that's what the audience wanted to believe. To put it another way, Jock's meme-worthy energy was becoming predictable, funny, relevant, debatable, and especially when he was younger. Wilder personalities were flooding the timeline and bringing viral content with them, which is where names like Queen Key and Salma Slims come in. These women came in hot. They had no filters, no fear, and no baggage from the past. But if you dig a little deeper, you'll see that Jock was... The Kendra connection is something that hasn't been discussed yet. But before we go too far into the future, let's go back to something that hasn't been discussed yet. The Kendra connection. You see, Kendra wasn't just Jock's wife on the show. She was the key to his storyline, adding depth, emotion, and most importantly, conflict. If he does return in season 14, it might not be as the funny guy anymore, but rather as young Jock 2.0. Cleaned up, rebranded, and prepared to tell his side. At that point, Jock made a decision. And that decision was loyalty. He stood by his wife and he paid the price. Whether you think that was noble or naive is up to you, but it's obvious. Producers allegedly approached Kendra with a pitch during season 13 pre-production, wanting to revisit old drama like the Carly Red mess, the cheating allegations, and all the stuff that should have been left in the past. Kendra flatly refused, telling them she wasn't going to relive pain for ratings. They allegedly threatened to write her out. The fact that they both disappeared at the same time isn't a coincidence, bro. That's chestos. So the next time someone tells you that Jock left the show, ask them again. Did he quit or was he checkmated? And with all the drama surrounding his name, one thing is clear. Even though season 13 is currently airing, the real drama is developing off-screen. And if Jock returns in season 14, trust me, it won't be the same energy, because when someone gets silenced, they usually return loudly after a sufficient amount of time. So we've reached the point where the show has moved on, or at least that's what they want us to think. Season 13 is underway.